Alderneys Key FM.
Okay, so this is a statement which was provided for me by Dr. Simmons this morning in the event that she was unable, through other commitments, to have access to the radio. So again, if you've already heard most of it, and it is worth repeating. I was disappointed to see an interview on ITV channel last night where calls were being made for quarantine of 14 days to be imposed on those returning from Guernsey to Alderney, including medical patients. Currently, there are very low numbers of people travelling between Guernsey and Alderney. Those who have been to medical appointments go straight home anyway because they are unwell or going through treatment. Some are receiving treatment for cancer and are clear about the risks to their health. Every one of them is aware of their own vulnerability and is taking the advice about staying at home. We also need to keep the channels open between here and Guernsey so that specialists such as gynecologists can visit to see pregnant women on the island. These visits are vital. All of the issues and risks which affect Alderney are being kept under review. We need to balance the needs of people with existing healthcare conditions as well as deal with the risk of COVID-19. The medical professionals here on the island and the public health professionals in Guernsey are thinking about these issues all the time. We are drawing on the full range of expertise to keep everyone safe. As I've said before, and it is disappointing to have to repeat this, we all need to get behind the strategy to manage this crisis and trust in the medical experts and the wider group of professionals who are doing their best to ensure we are all safe. It is disappointing that the message has not got through to everyone. So, for those who will be listening perhaps later to this broadcast, I just want to go back and read the line from His Excellency the Lieutenant Governor, which from his address he gave yesterday to the bailiwick. But through this difficult time, I do urge each and every one of you to keep faith. Keep faith in our leadership, our health professionals, and our emergency services. So that is his message. That is my message. And it has to be understood that everyone will have their own ideas about how we can deal with this pandemic. But if you feel unwell, you go to the doctor, and if the doctor tells you what in their professional opinion is the problem, do you then leave the surgery and say, well, actually, I don't think it is that. I think I know better what it is. So it's understandable that people have their own views about how to deal with this. But if we're going to get through this, we're going to get through it as a community which is focused and a community which trusts and supports the medical professional advice that we are being given. And I know, because I see it firsthand, the sacrifices that are being made by those people on the front line who are fighting tirelessly to keep us all safe. This is day 20 for us, I think. Morning till night, no days off. So just please, when people might want to question, just look in the mirror and ask yourself the question, am I doing everything I can to support those people who are keeping me safe and keeping the threat of this virus away? So it beggars belief to think that there would be challenges to the approach. And these are not just our local doctors. There is a massive range of healthcare professionals in Guernsey who are working day in, day out to set the strategies to keep us all safe. So, for heaven's sake, let's just wake up and support those who are keeping us all safe. And I really am saddened to have reinforced the message of Dr. Sally. But if you were in my privileged position to see at first hand the efforts that are being made, then I think you might think quite differently. And we will continue to make those efforts, but we need every minute of every day to prepare for what we may face, and we don't need to spend our days answering emails and inquiries which don't move the dial at all. So please, take a step back. Let the people who know what they're doing do their job. So now I'm going to go back to what was to be the start of this morning's summary, which was going to be brief. So I'll start with the usual summary of the latest position in the bailiwick. There have been 708 tests carried out for the COVID-19, of which 78 have proven to be positive. There are 75 results outstanding. There has sadly, as we have now learnt, been one death. Just to reiterate, as I do every morning, all of the cases identified so far have been in Guernsey, with none in Alderney. But as I always say, we must continue to behave as if the virus is already here. There are 2 COVID-19 patients currently being managed in the Princess Elizabeth Hospital in Guernsey, and of course all the efforts will be made to safeguard their health and also everyone else in that hospital environment. I think it is becoming clear that we are still learning about this virus, and there's lots we don't know. We all know the main symptoms are one or more of the following: a dry cough, shortness of breath, and a fever. But we also know that it doesn't affect everyone in the same way. Sometimes it's just one of the symptoms. Sometimes it is so mild that it is barely noticeable. For other people, it is extremely serious or even fatal. Indeed, we now know that sometimes it doesn't even display the 3 main symptoms, but it can, in some age groups, have symptoms such as fatigue and diarrhea. I don't want to alarm people unnecessarily. We all have enough to worry about in staying safe and healthy. But if you have any symptoms at all which you think might be COVID-19 related, call the helpline on 756 938 756 938 or 756 969 756 969. What we have learnt over the last 2 or 3 days is that this virus is no respecter of age or of physical fitness. So just because you are healthy and stay fit does not necessarily make you any less likely. So now we have the full age range, and that is something which allows me to reinforce that message to everyone on the island. Stay at home. Now, I need to mention that the Health and Emergency Services will be doing some practical training on patient transfers for COVID-19 training at some point today. So if you are out and about taking your daily exercise and happen to see some doctors, nurses and ambulance people dressed in personal protective equipment, please don't panic. They need to exercise their procedures in real time and space. So please take comfort in the fact that they are preparing in the best way they can. And that, if you see that exercise taking place, will reinforce 2 things. One is that it is a clear and present threat to the health of our island. And secondly, that our health professionals are doing everything they can so that if and when a case happens here, all the right protocols are in place, all the right protections are available, and we can respond to the challenge in the best possible way. So that, again, is a real positive, and it's part of the whole protocol of preparing for the battle ahead. Yesterday, following the announcement of the first death as a result of COVID-19 in the bailiwick, His Excellency Vice Admiral Sir Ian Corder, KBECB, Lieutenant Governor of the Bailiwick of Guernsey, addressed the people of the bailiwick. This address is online for anyone who is able to view it on the latest news at the website gov.gg/coronavirus. gov.gg/coronavirus. And that is the opportunity for you to find out anything about the coronavirus epidemic. So it's a very, very useful tool, and people should look at it once or twice a day. In his address, His Excellency expressed great sadness at the announcement of the first death due to COVID-19. He reiterated Her Majesty the Queen's recent reference to people and communities coming together as one, concentrating our combined efforts with a focus on the common goal. I'd like to quote directly from Sir Ian's address. Our immediate destiny lies in the continued ability of all of us to respond collectively and as individuals. It remains vital that we continue to put our responsibilities to others before personal comfort and convenience. The next few months are going to test our island spirit to the limit. But through this difficult time, I do urge each and every one of you to keep faith. Keep faith in our leadership, our health professionals, our emergency services, those who are keeping our food shops open, and our broader public and voluntary services. Trust them and support them. They will not fail us. Keep faith in the global scientific effort to develop and distribute a vaccine and other treatments. Huge resources are being focused on this, and it will happen. But most of all, we need to keep faith in ourselves and each other. We need to keep faith in our resilience, our sense that we are facing this together, and our consideration and mutual support for each other. We may have to distance ourselves physically, but we must not distance ourselves emotionally. And in terms of our respect and concern for one another, we must remain one bailiwick in our fight to defeat this infection. Those words seem to me to offer some comfort and guidance to everyone in the bailiwick, and particularly to us here in Alderney, and I felt it was important to share them with you this morning. And I know that the Lieutenant Governor is keeping a very watchful eye on developments on our island. I have a regular catch-up with him once a week where I bring him up to date on developments. So please rest assured he has one eye very firmly fixed on the challenges that we face as an island. So I was going to try and make this a bit more uplifting and a bit more upbeat. But of course, events, as always, tend to overtake. But I want to finish on a more positive note. And I was going to read this yesterday, but I indicated then I didn't think yesterday was the day to do it. I'm heartened to see that the States of Guernsey are going to broadcast a press conference on a more regular basis from now. I have now been bringing you daily updates on Key FM for, I think, at least a couple of weeks. This isn't about being competitive, but it's nice to know that once again, a small island can demonstrate agility and forward thinking in the way it does things. So what I tell everybody that will listen is that we are punching well above our weight. And that, I think, is something for which we can all be very proud. So just sort of updates. I was going to mention the newsletter this morning, the second edition of what I think everybody has agreed has been a fantastic initiative, professionally prepared, and anybody reading that will realize how important we feel it is to get all the information we can into the public domain so that everybody is connected to the process. So as I was thinking about what I was going to say, lo and behold, the second edition arrived on our doorstep. And I have to say, once again, it's an incredible document. It is very Alderney-centric, and it's just the sort of document which I think is going to give everybody a lift and is going to make everybody realise that this is a community fighting together as we have faced with any challenge, and I'm sure that you will conclude that this is something that we're going to get through, and we're going to get through it with the minimum of harm. So please, that will be coming out, I think, today or tomorrow, but when you get it, please read it. Now, yesterday, you may recall I asked for volunteers who were doing their own initiatives to get in touch so that we could put them on our radar and offer them support if they needed it. And there was a particular initiative that I had in mind, and within a matter of an hour, that person had contacted us. We'd had a dialogue. It's all been extremely well resolved, so that just again shows how important it is that we get information out in the morning and we have the opportunity to respond. And similarly, we had a phone call after lunch yesterday about somebody who was in a particularly difficult situation. We mobilized the resources, and within a very short time, with the assistance of others, we identified replacements for the item that had broken down, and in fact, she had a choice of two. So again, it's demonstrating that we are a community prepared to do what it takes. Next thing is, this morning you've already heard from Mags about the Channel Seaways vessel, but I've just had a press release from Bruno, and I think I'm going to read it because I think that Bruno is an incredible servant to this island, and although he doesn't live here full time, he's no less of a resident, in my view, than anybody else. So this is the press release. Channel Seaways, part of the Alderney Shipping Group, are pleased to announce the arrival of the MV Trinity. The Trinity will replace the smaller ship MV Valiant, which has served the islands for the last 8 years. The introduction of this new larger vessel at this time of immense uncertainty underlines the long-term commitment of Channel Seaways to the people of the Channel Islands and local businesses. Alderney Shipping, Channel Seaways is the only freight and passenger vessel operating company which serves the Channel Islands that remain locally owned and managed. The company celebrated its 50th birthday last year. This length of service can be attributed to its dedication to the islands and the personal service it gives its loyal customers, both trade and private. During this pandemic, the company has been deemed to be a critical business, which allows it to continue serving the freight routes from Poole to Alderney, Guernsey and Jersey for essential supplies including fuel, food, medical and animal feeds. Channel Seaways operates in line with the government recommendations and is grateful to the workforce who have risen to the task in hand during these difficult times. Now, Channel Seaways is a family-owned business and has been for the last 50 years and has been consistent in its commitment to ensure that we have access to all those vital supplies which keep us going day by day. And in addition, I'm delighted to say that Bruno has made the Spike Islander available to the States of Alderney, and via a rather circuitous route, we are expecting her imminent arrival. And he has done that as an act of commitment, and he has made available the Spike Islander so that it strengthens our resilience in terms of our access via the sea to Guernsey. So that improves our strength and gives us that other vital resource. So once again, on behalf of everybody, if he's listening, thanks a lot, Bruno. I think pretty much that's everything I need to tell you this morning. Just to point out, before everybody starts bombarding us with emails about a certain press release this morning, have a look at the date. And finally, I've got a message for Brenda Webb. She'll know what it means, and forgive this personal message to her. I hope you got an eyeful, Brenda. I say no more than that. Over to you, Dougal.
Well, thank you, William. I do hope that doesn't refer to take a good look at yourself in the mirror. But
it actually refers, Dougal, to when I said, I think on Monday, that it was so manic on Sunday that I had to answer the phone and have a conversation, stark naked, while waiting to get in the bar.
So I think the mirror does come into it somewhere.
Brenda rang me last night and said her and Kelly were going to be out with the binoculars.
Thank you.
I hope they were very powerful.
Thank you. Isn't it nice to finish on a light note? But just to say, the Spike Islander is here.
Oh, brilliant.
She came over with the Trinity.
It had a piggyback on the Trinity.
Absolutely. I'm struggling to hear you, Dougal, but that sounds like fantastic news.
Yes,
again.
it is. And listen, William, I'm very sorry about that technical issue at the start. It sometimes does happen. And as I hope we've got it sorted and that it will all go out all right. And once again, strong leadership is what we need, and strong leadership is what we've got. So we all appreciate that. And we will be back again, no doubt, tomorrow morning at 9:15. So once again, President William Tate, thank you very much.
Well, can I just say finally, Dougal, that I've been listening this morning, and you and Mags do seem a bit giddy. So what I'm suggesting is, if you can bottle what you've got, there's a massive market for it out there. And again, just one final thing, and these things just come into my head. You know, in all of this, there are positives which we can take comfort in. And somebody rang me last night and said, you know, it's so nice because I'm talking to my children every day who don't live on the island. So my message to everybody, I suppose, is find the positives, manage the negatives, and stay safe.
And that is what we'll all do. William Tate, our president, thank you very much indeed, and we will speak to you again tomorrow.
Thanks, Dougal.
Okay.
Stay safe, everybody.
And you. Okay, bye for now.
Alderneys Key FM.